What do you think is your maximum number of gravity versus grinder pump solution?
I've not looked at the math.
Okay.
Really, we were, for the last year or so, we were going down this other path of a pump station on another property. But we've heard loud and clear over the last several months that that's not really the direction. We've heard from residents, they don't want more density, they're not looking for more homes, not looking to extend sewer to further places. I think we've heard that loud and clear.
And I think you can accommodate with a stub across there, so, the township can explore the small water grants, the H2O grants, and make it affordable for the homeowner, and then that doesn't burden you, and we don't have to have the increased density, and we save 1.4 to 1.5 million in that regard. So,
does our engineer have a notion of how many lots of the 40, let's say 46?
Because you are losing something with respect to the property that was originally allocated for where the wastewater treatment plant would be. So let's say it's 46, just for
Sure. Do you have a notion of how many could, guess the ballpark, need to be on grinder pumps versus gravity?
It seemed to me, on a cursory review, that about 50% might be, we might be able to do about 50, which I think is what Mr. Wilcox just represented. Obviously, a more detailed analysis needs to be done that actually calculates it back out and looks at maybe some minor adjustments to the grading on this to make that work. But it seems to me that it's not unreasonable to talk about a 50-50 split.
because we're looking at what, 20, 25, 22, 25 at the most.
Right, so if 22 or 23,
And that's a lot different, than 47, having a whole development that way. And then there's no need for a pump station with that, because you have enough
That's
other
right.
costs.
That's right.
And then the homeowners association would have to maintain it, and
Before we get too far down the road, is there anything that anybody wants to discuss with respect to the current plan of 61? If not, I propose that we take a position on that now and make it clear to the applicant where we stand on that before we go down. We'd love to talk more about the things we've been talking about, but I think that we should have a process so that we don't lose track of that. Anybody have anything else they want to talk about, or I'm happy to state my position. I'll make a motion on it. Not hearing anybody, I'll read what I have written. If the Lower Frederick Township Planning Commission does not support Polycomp Trust Company's request for variances from the Lower Frederick Township zoning ordinance with respect to real property located in the township's R2 low-density residential district near Gravel Pikes intersection with Salford Station Road, such property being designated as Montgomery County parcel 380011200066 to allow 60 single-family detached dwelling units on approximately 41.6 acres. We feel that Polycomp Trust Company's numerous variance requests are generally not consistent with the legislative intent of Lower Frederick Township's R2 low-density residential district and conflict with its fundamental dimensional requirements. As always, wherever possible, the Lower Frederick Township Planning Commission is amenable to working with Polycomp Trust to achieve a land development plan that is generally consistent with Lower Frederick Township's R2 low-density residential district. That is my motion in terms of the position statement.
I'll second that. I concur. I think that
Discussion.
46, 47 is, the route that we should go, and, the higher density does not benefit our township. It does not fit in with the legislative intent because basically with the 60, you're going from R2 zoning to R4, and that's not what that area is designated for. So I would second your motion, Chuck.
Is there any discussion, any comments?
The only thing I might suggest that we reference the Central Perkiomen Valley Regional Plan partners in that, perhaps that's supportive of that motion. Is that fair enough? Or fine? Does anybody want to comment on that?
It is, I believe it is conducive with our.
No, and in support of what Chuck is saying, there would be referenced in his motion, is that?
Oh, I see what you're saying, just additional verbiage.
Yeah. We want to add that it's not consistent with the Central Perkiomen Regional.
Oh, it is consistent.
It is consistent
Support
with
of the motion.
What is what I'm asking for?
Yes.
What is the number of EDUs that they can have, 46 or 47?
Nobody can figure out exactly where the 47 came in.
And 47 was in regard to the zoning hearing board decision of October 22nd, 2007. And the reason that the additional lot was granted was with the donation of the 6 acres on Swamp Creek Road. Now, the applicant no longer has that parcel to dedicate to the township. So I would believe it would revert back to the original decision of May 18th of 2005 on page 3, where it said the land development, it's paragraph 3, page 3, subsection A, the reduction of the number of lots to 46, eliminating lot 47. And if you read the preliminary approval letter from 2008, February 5th, I believe, 2008, it said it incorporated all of the conditions of this conditional approval. So, you know,
It does, but that letter also talks in terms of the subdivision proposes 48 lots, and then it goes into that zoning decision that knocks out 1 lot.
Right.
And it does incorporate that, so to be determined.
Right, there's some research, I think, to get.
But I think we could work with that, you know, perhaps if there is some additional open space that could be dedicated, or maybe in lieu of fee or something like that. You know, since you already have it configured at 47, I'm sure.
When is that to be determined? How many meetings do we have to go
Well,
on 46?
actually, it's not our meeting.
No,
It's for our solicitors.
It would be for our
For the solicitors,
solicitors.
it's a legal question. What you're saying.
It is a legal question. I think push will come to shove when they make application for final plan approval.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're here for, to discuss it.
None of us
No.
got to figure that one out.
The reason I'm bringing up questions is at our last supervisors meeting, I remember there was a discussion about monies in our sewer system and financing. And it was talk about, and Marla's here, and Terry's here, and correct me if I'm wrong, was talking about the possibility of being able to talk to developers about putting money up if they build in the township for EDUs in advance of the project because of the delay with monies coming in to put into our account. Am I right or wrong with that? Maybe I'm wording it wrong.
I believe that topic came up, and I do not recall that we came to any conclusion.
It was requiring the developer to purchase
To purchase.
the EDUs
Right.
when they got plan approval.
Right.
What the
Right,
conversation.
right, when it got to that point. All right.
Yeah, we're not at that stage of the game.
Yeah, just to add to what Ernie's saying, from all the work that I did, it's recommended when, once the planning modules are approved by the township and the DEP, that is when the ROC, the reservation of capacity fee, would be determined, and that would be the EDU charge that the builder would pay in advance, you know. So whenever you get to that point, that would come out.
So what I get out of the motion is, if we approve the motion and move it ahead, then we're done with the contemplated sewer pump station being built in Southwood Station, and we're going back into the idea that we'll have a combination of gravity and sewer pumps, that type of grinder pumps be installed.
That would be the recommendation. And then the board does what they want. So let me modify the last sentence. I would say, as always, we're Does anybody want to recuse themselves or anything?
Yeah, so I recently received a letter, I'm within 500 feet of this development, so I think it makes sense to recuse from the vote.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Or your hands on, right? So that's 1, 2, you have me, Terry's abstaining. We got 3, 4, 4.
My reason for,
And Rainier is absent tonight.
my reason for voting is really not an abstention or a no. I should say, I'd be more amenable to 55 units at that project. That's all. That's the only reason I'm not voting for.
Do you want to vote no or you want to abstain?
No, I'll vote no.
Okay. Go with that. Got it.
4 to 1, and the planning commission will pass on your motion to the board of supervisors,
Right.
and that's the recommendation that I believe they were looking for. There you go.
So now we can go back to
They
where we were.
recommended.
So, referencing the letter that Carol prepared, I don't know what you have in front of you. Did you have?
The sewer
I'm sorry, yeah, the sewer letter.
Yeah.
We have. So she gave a very thorough history of where we started and the commitments made on your behalf and the cost of things. And she gave on page 6 and 7, under the heading of how else would Melbourne Hill connect? She listed 4 different options. And just for the sake of those of you who don't have it in front of you in the audience, option number 1 is basically the conditional use option from 2005 and 8, which is lowering the sewer line and gravel pipe to achieve gravity flow for all lots. So there we're talking about excavating Route 29 almost back to the traffic circle to achieve a depth of somewhere around 20 to 22 feet. Again, so that everything could flow. Might as well just read the whole thing. It says, lowering the sewer line and gravel pipe to accept gravity flow from the proposed development. Sewer lines this deep are not recommended. Construction will be a significant inconvenience as Route 29 is closed to the 20-foot excavation depths, and surrounding utilities are impacted. The facilities will be subject to greater hydrostatic pressures, and future repairs to these lines, when necessary, not if, when necessary, will be a massive undertaking for the township. That's option number 1. Option number 2, a pump station at Melbourne Hill. Pump stations should be placed at the lowest point in a watershed so that the number of pump stations in a collection system is minimized. Each pump station is an annual investment in money and manpower. Placing a pump station at each new development is not a sustainable policy for a municipality. In other words, it costs money to run them. So whatever revenue you get from having additional people in your sewer, a significant fraction of that is going to be negated by the cost of running a pump station. Option 3, grinder pumps and a low pressure system for the development. The applicant proposed a low pressure system for the entire development. That was back in September or October of 2018. The township would be responsible for a shared main, but would not have a pump station to operate. So that means everybody has a grinder pump on their property and they pump into a low pressure system that then goes out to 29. Option 4, a blend of grinder pumps and gravity. Roughly half the proposed homes on the northern portion of this property would be served by grinder pump and forced main, and the remainder of the development homes by gravity. If the developer can accomplish the path for sewer depicted in the preliminary plan, All right, the preliminary plan basically says that they have to get an easement through the Saks and Little properties. That it may be possible to accomplish this without lowering the existing sewer lines. So that, if you go back to 2008, and I have that review letter here, if you want to go through that, that was part and parcel of what had to happen in order to get gravity sewer out to 29. So those were the 4 options. And again, that's what was presented in the letter. So I think we all read that this week. And to me, the option, speaking for myself, the option I thought was perhaps the best option would be option 4, which was a mix of the 2.
I agree.
I personally don't think that having everything running on a grinder pump is a good idea.
I also concur with that strategy approach.
I like number 4, the option also. I think that seems to be the most workable one. The only other thing would be, you know, the Schuler's letter indicated that the pump station is an expense. Yet if there would be a pump station on the property, the homeowners association, it would be the homeowners association's responsibility, correct? Not the township's?
An individual,
Just to serve, like a pump station just to service, or like a lift station, a smaller thing just to service.
so they would typically be maintained by the sewer authority. In this case, it would be the township. that would-
So it would be the township,
Yeah,
not the homeowner.
individual pumps for each house is.
Well, yeah, that would be the homeowners, but if there was like a community lift station or something,
Generally, DEP
frowns
doesn't
upon
mind,
that.
right?
Yeah.
The individual homeowners association is responsible for that.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any questions from the audience? Sherry?
Can you please clarify how they mix, changes the deck that the road leads together?
Maybe that's for me.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I'll use that pointer, thank you for returning. So, this part of the property is higher in elevation right here, and this part of the property is very low in elevation. So what happened in the original development plan is that these properties all drain nicely down here, and then we've got a very low spot here. And that sort of drove the elevation of the sewer going down. So if these folks end up on grinder pumps, and maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of these folks should be able to gravity down to the existing sewer elevations if we're not trying to accommodate the whole development. So they were within, you know, a handful of feet of making this work in an old plan. And by putting these folks on grinder pump and eliminating that low point in the gravity system, then we can raise the rest of the gravity system up for this area, and they can make positive flow down to the pipe. It was a little obnoxiously engineering talk, but I hope that was helpful.
And Carol, this would enable us to leave for the most part, leave Route 29 alone, other than modifying the one manhole that's present, right?
Well, they would either be just disturbing 29 out in front of the little John Deere dealership,
Right.
or they might be, depending on what ultimate configuration, they may end up bringing some sewer line on 29 as they discuss putting a stub in across to Southwood Station Road. So there might be some construction here, but now you're talking about them digging 6 feet deep
Right.
or 8 feet deep, not digging 20 feet deep. So the level of disruption and the length of time they'd be in the road would be significantly different, and it would be more within the realm of what the township is commonly used to maintaining in our system.
When you discussed in your letter about servicing homes with Salford Station, and you talked about in your letter taking a low pressure system down mentioned that it could be done in a softer station, but the cost of excavating 29 make it not as attractive. It's a shorter distance, but the 29 excavation may make it less attractive, right? Because of that. So what Ben had sort of suggested that could alleviate, that could change the calculation
You
there.
might balance it out. So since not everybody's been through the report, the big picture here is that if Melbourne Hill goes forward with a blend of grinder pumps and gravity so that they can utilize the lines that are already in gravel pipe, what that doesn't do is answer the question of how will the township in the future deal with these other areas with questionable systems. So when the sewage planning is accomplished for this project, the township, somehow we're going to have to address that. We're going to have to say, all right, instead of doing a pumping station along the Gosh and Hoppen Creek that's going to pick up all these problems, now we've got to say what else we're going to do. So what was discussed in this report was the alternatives that were also discussed in the Act 537 plan, which is a low-pressure system. And that low-pressure system could either come down Schwenk Road or Southwood Station Road to get to the sewer, to the main collection system. Which way that would go would be costed out under the alternative analysis. Same thing with Zieglerville Road in the Act 537 plan was talked about doing a low-pressure system one direction or the other. So you would be selecting those as alternatives for your future sewer planning for the township.
Currently, our sewer planning does not provide for low pressure on Schwenk.
Yes, it does.
No, it's a gravity.
So it's option 2.
There was a hybridized gravity, it doesn't have to.
Right, that one talked about a grinder, a low-pressure system to the top of the hill and then gravity on down.
Reread us all last time.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, so you would essentially be revisiting the options in the 537 plan and saying, we changed our mind, we're selecting these other options.
And there's also, I think Phil has brought it up at previous meetings, step systems, which is kind of a hybrid of a low-pressure system and a septic system. And for these failed systems that, failed or failing on-lot systems, that concept's kind of nice because the existing septic tank can be retrofitted. And then you're only accepting, and the plant is only accepting the gray water. And then they still have to be pumped out. It's like a dual, maybe Phil could explain better, but it's like a dual tank